Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Alan Young. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us on the Welcome Mat. Today, we're going to dive deep into the Infor sales and catering solution and get a good look at the product itself, unlike a whole bunch of talking heads that will look towards the future and tell you about innovation, etc. Today, we're actually going to delve deep into the actual product. So we're very excited about that. We do have a Q&A session that's available within the On24 application that you're logged into at the moment. Please submit your questions. We will answer them as quickly as we can. We're not going to wait to the very end. If people have a great question, we'll go ahead and get right into it, because that's really important that we all kind of discuss the SCS platform together. For those who don't know, my name is Alan Young. I am the VP of Strategy for Infor Hospitality's business unit, and I am joined today by Amy Montauk, who is the Product Manager for Infor Hospitality Sales and Catering Solution. Hi, Amy.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Of course.
And so let's just get a few questions out of the way. Can you give us a little bit of a background on how you came to Infor and what your current position entails?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually started my hospitality experience started in restaurants. So started out as a host, made my way up to server, bartender, and then eventually a general manager of a restaurant. About 10 years ago, I was offered the opportunity to transition over into technology. It started out in support, made my way into implementation. And then about 3 years ago, I made my way over to the product side. And then in January, I was promoted to product manager. So hospitality experience is mainly in restaurants, but kind of made my way through a couple of different positions in Infor.
And for those of you that do not know, Infor Sales and Catering Solution was part of an acquisition we made a number of years ago with a company called Reserve. And not only do we implement sales and catering solutions in hotels, we do them in conference centers. We implement them in stadiums and theme parks. And so we have a wide range of customers in that world. But today we're kind of going to focus on the hospitality hotel side of the equation. So I'm going to ask a few poll questions first. Let's go ahead and get into the first one. If everybody who's on the call, it'd be great if you could participate and answer these poll questions. It helps us navigate through the process. How are you currently managing group sales and event operations at your property or properties? Primarily manual, a mix of tools, systems not fully integrated, a dedicated event management solution, or you're just not currently managing events, or other. Feel free to share that within the Q&A section. So go ahead and please submit your answers to that question. We'll take just a second. We have one person that has committed an answer so far. Here we're up to 5. Okay, we'll give it another second and then we'll go on to the next poll question. Okay, so let's see where we're at. We have a mix of, so nobody's doing manual processes, thank goodness, in this day and age. A mix of tools and systems not fully integrated. 46% have a dedicated event management solution. That's awesome. And 30% are not currently managing events. I can only assume that those people are from Infor that are here watching the show. But let's go on. Let's go on to the next one. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to group business and event management? A, lifecycle task automation and visibility. B, integrated CRM and communications. Event costing and revenue forecasting. Cloud scalability and security, AWS. And then all of the above. We had a big thumbs up just pop there. So please go ahead and answer this question. We'll give everybody a second. And after this round of poll questions, we'll get into the demonstration. Okay. Right now, 33% biggest challenge is event costing and revenue forecasting, and 66% is all of the above. Wow. Okay. So, Amy, let's get into this. You're here to
Perfect.
show us one of the cool things that we have in the product is something called lifecycle management. And lifecycle management is obviously the process of onboarding a client all the way through proposal processes, et cetera, and all the way through the finished product. But there are some automation processes that we put in place to make event planners, et cetera, their business so much easier. So we're going to delve into that. And please feel free to ask questions as Amy goes through the presentation. All right, Amy, over to you.
Right. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. And it looks like that popped open. Alan, can you confirm that?
I certainly can.
Perfect. Awesome. So you all are looking at Infor Sales Event Management, or SCS. This is my homepage. Just for the sake of the demo today, I'm going to just jump into the events calendar. So it's going to take me to my current month. All of these events are color coded according to statuses. So really gives you a great view of where my events are in that event lifecycle process. For today's demo, I already have an event created, not going to go through that entire process. Just have a basic event. We work with many clients that have lots of details, lots of functions, a guest room block in their event. Mine's pretty simple. I'm just dealing with a social event today. I have my contact details. We are a CRM solution as well, so we can track contacts information and how much they're booking with us. So if I went into Amy Mantak, I'd be able to see comprehensive data of all of the events that she's booked, all of her past history, as well as communication. Same with account information as well. I could go into Infor and see all of the contacts associated with Infor, as well as all of the details and how many events have been associated with Infor and that revenue. So is Infor bringing in quite a bit of business? So all of that is available in our contact and account modules. Scrolling on down, again, I have a pretty simplistic event today. It's just a social event. I can see some of my event details. Over to the right-hand side, I have my life cycle model. I've selected the social life cycle. I also have this in the new stage. It's a brand new event, not much going on with this event quite yet. If I scroll on down, I have my event life cycle here. This is where all of the this is this star of the show today. So I'm going to go ahead and go through about 5 stages today, but I'll talk through some of the other ones as well. So we have just in the very beginning, the new status. Everything when you enter an event is always new. I can then start navigating through these stages. I'm going to skip process inquiry. Not much going on usually with this stage, just a way to indicate that it's, pretty it's not quite an event quite yet. It's, you might just have a person reaching out with asking for just basic event information. Is this date available? What do your menus look like? So this stage typically just has a quick task for some follow-up. I'm going to go ahead and go into my proposal stage. In my functions in my event, I've already added in some menus. I've detailed this event out just a little bit. So you'll see at the very top, I have that automation within this life cycle. So I'm confirming a task be created to follow up about the proposal. And then it's prompting me to send emails and generate documents. So this is the beauty of the life cycle, having this automation at my fingertips. We work in the hospitality industry. There's turnover. So if you have a new salesperson, these life cycles really help them drive collecting information according to your business process. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my proposal email template, and I'm going to grab this proposal social document. And then I'm going to click on send proposal. So selecting the email template that's configured in settings, selecting the document template that's generated, and that's also configured in settings, and then clicking on send proposal. This is going
Amy,
to
how
take
many?
me to, yeah,
I'm going to
go ahead.
jump in really quick, ask a quick question. How many machinations can you have for that email proposal template? Is it unlimited? Any images?
It's
Anything?
unlimited. Yep,
Right.
exactly. So you can have as many email templates as you wish. So think about the types of events you're servicing. I'm working in a social event. You might have a different email template and a different proposal for your corporate events. And that could be different imagery on the proposal. I'll pop open this proposal in just a second. That's all
Right.
configurable in the settings.
Okay, great.
So if I scroll on down, pretty basic email template here, just has some basic event information, just pulling the event name, the date. And then if I scroll on down, I have my proposal here. Can always pop that open and take a quick peek at that. So if I go ahead and just drag this over to my screen, you can see that I have just some imagery here. And then if I scroll on down, I can go into just the basic event information. And all of this is configurable. So while during the implementation process, you'd be communicating with a consultant on kind of how you want your proposals to be set up. And then you'd be able to um, provide images that you want in those. So I'm going to go ahead and just send that email off. We do offer email 360. So if you want to take advantage of that, the email has to originate from SCS. Once it goes to the client, it's now being tracked. So if I actually scroll on down to my communication history, I can see that I have this email template, it's been delivered. So all of that's being tracked, and I can see when the client responds, that response will actually go into SCS as well as be forwarded over to the client. And then they can continue responding. All right, so we went through the proposal stage. I am going to go ahead and go into process tentative, but I do want to just point out that we have holds within SCS. We have 20 that can actually be utilized. Some of our larger clients that are constantly booking events and there's competition for certain days, they take advantage of these holds, and you can actually slot your events into these different hold stages and then indicate it's almost like a wait list for your events. Just want to point that out that that is available, and we have up to 20. You're only seeing 2 in my life cycle here. I'm going to go ahead and process tentative. I've been talking with Amy. She loves the proposal. She wants to start moving forward with my event. Process tentative. And then you'll see some additional actions being taken or being requested through this life cycle. Here's my deposit schedule. So I am going to go ahead and generate these deposits to be able to be collected as well as pull onto my contract. This is creating that deposit schedule. I can change anything about these date, amount. In the settings within these life cycles, I have it calculating. This is 25%. This is going to automatically calculate that amount for me. You can also have flat amounts as well. So if your business just takes a flat $500 as that first deposit, that's possible to set up as well. If I scroll on down, SCS assumes that you're now going to the next stage in the life cycle, so it's prompting you to close the previous stage's task. You can always opt not to, but it's assuming that we're now moving on and those should be closed. And then it's confirming a new task. So I have my tentative booking follow up. And this is where I can also send another email with that contract. So scrolling down, I have my send email. I'm going to grab one of my templates, and then I'm going to grab my event contract. And then I'm going to go ahead and process tentative. Now, this is going to take me to that page where I can go ahead and update anything about this email that I wish. If I scroll on down, a little bit of a different template here. Again, pretty basic. We can always beef these up during the implementation process. But then I can go ahead and just take a quick peek at my contract. Always want to go ahead and look at that before, of course, sending it out to the client. We do also offer e-signature as well. So if that's something that you want to take advantage of, it's free. You'd be able to click on request e-signature. I can compose my e-signature request. I can also have predefined templates and settings as well. But if I scroll on down, here's where I can go ahead and once this is sent to the client, they would get this email with that link prompting them to sign that contract. So this is free. It's just our native e-signature, and it's available to take advantage of. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually cancel. I'm not going to send these emails off. You kind of understand that we would go ahead and send that off, and then that would be received from the client side. if you're taking advantage of our e-signature, if the client signs, we also provide the opportunity to countersign as well. So you would actually get as the salesperson would get a notification letting you know that the client has signed that contract. And then in SCS, it's just a merge field that you would embed onto the contract and you'd be able to countersign that contract. So a couple of just little features that I want to point out to everybody on the call. So now we've gone through the tentative stage. I also want to note that if you're taking advantage of some of the integrations that we offer, tentative and definite are really kind of the big stages. That's going to prompt these events to go over to that other software. Like for an example for HMS, that's going to go ahead and trigger to send this event over to HMS, so that's a referenceable over there.
And so for
I'm
those
gonna
of you that do sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you again, Amy. For those of you who don't know what HMS, it's Infor's property management solution, of which we have tens of thousands of clients. One other thing I wanna point out related to lifecycle management is, one of the biggest parts of managing an event is the costing and tracking of revenue to ensure that your sales teams are able to easily capture and disseminate the metrics for their events. This lifecycle technology automates collection of the data and prevents items from slipping through the cracks, which I think is one of the most awesome things about the life cycle management piece.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to prompt you to collect payments. And in some of these later stages, I'm going to
Yeah.
actually be updating quantities of items and updating attendance values. That impacts making sure that that event cost or that event revenue is accurate. And we do offer some additional tools within SCS to track item costs. So you can see the margins for your events, see what it's actually costing you versus what you're actually making from that event. So all of that's available to be configured into SCS to take advantage of.
Awesome.
All right. So working with Amy again, she's let us know that she is good to go. She's signed her contract. She's ready to pay that first deposit. I'm going to go ahead and go straight into confirm. At the very top, again, some additional actions here. I can record that first initial deposit. I'm going to select that one, not collecting the other two deposits quite yet, just selecting that first one. I'm scrolling down to the payment details. I automatically have that amount populated in here because that's the payment I selected. Payment type is going to be deposit, and then payment method. I'm going to go ahead and just select check for this payment. I can put in any payment details if I wish, maybe the check number, and then the description over to the right-hand side. Not required. It's just these two that are required for collecting payment information. We do offer the ability to integrate with credit card processor. I think we offer about 5 options. And so you could actually be sending payment requests to these contacts as well. And they'd be able to make those payments through the credit card processor. We are also PCI compliant. So just wanted to note that as well. Scrolling on down, similar to what we've been seeing in those previous stages, I can go ahead and just make sure that I'm closing the previous stages tasks. And then for the definite stage, I've actually created some tasks that are going to be assigned to a couple of other team members. So at this point in the life cycle, I'm now ready to assign tasks to some of my colleagues who are going to be collecting additional information about this event. So my AV needs, I have Garrett assigned to this task. He's going to be following up later in the week to grab the any AV needs for this event for the client. So being able to have the flexibility to create tasks not only for yourself but also assign them to specific users in the software. We recently added about 7 user fields. You saw that previously on the event details page. So whomever is assigned into those fields, SCS will know to assign the tasks to them. And what's great about those additional user fields is those are actually fields that integrate over to HMS if that's a solution that you're taking advantage of and using. We can incorporate fields into the event lifecycle. What's really great about that is we always try to encourage our clients for accurate data for reporting. So we can make certain fields required at certain stages in the life cycle. So, in the inquiry stage, you might not know what the event type is going to be or the referral type is. You can make those fields required. That way, you have accurate reporting. You're collecting the data and then making sure that that's saved in the event. And then when you're running reports at the end of the year or quarterly, you have all of that data at your fingertips.
Okay, Amy, I've got a
I
question for you
Sure. Yeah.
from the audience. When a person reviews the PDF document, like a contract generated by SCS, are they able to make changes directly into the doc before they send it out?
So you do have the option when you're generating documents, you can generate it as a PDF or you can generate it as Word. So if we always try to encourage our clients to, we never want to send out a Word document to a contact that you're working with, because then they can make edits to the document. So we try to always use what we can with merge fields in the settings area. So if you're constantly generating a Word document from your events and having to make changes to those, we'd want to work with you. We never want you to have to do anything manual and constantly update those, but it is an opportunity that you have. You can certainly generate a contract in Word format from the event, make any changes, maybe it's a change specific to the event, and then save it as a PDF and send it out.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Yep. You're welcome. All right, here's my definite stage. I can go ahead and send an email. I'm going to go ahead and skip that just because I know we're getting close. We have about 9 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that and just click confirm, not sending that email off. All right, let's keep scrolling on down. I'm going to go through about 2 more stages. We have complete event order. This is a great stage for just indicating that the event order's been detailed out. It's ready for distribution. We have the opportunity to create scheduled report or batch document jobs in SCS. So once a week or however often you need to generate those documents, you can set up a automated scheduled job. Looking at this complete event order stage and generating all of the events that are at that stage in the life cycle. So I'm going to go ahead and click on complete event order. I'm confirming that those tasks need to be closed out. I have a new task to grab the guaranteed attendance. Couple of additional prompts here that I mentioned earlier. Confirming attendance. I've now been communicating with Amy, her events coming up. I have a guaranteed attendance potentially, or maybe I know how many setting places I need to set the room for. I can go ahead and put in and update any attendance values here. And Alan, when I was mentioning updating quantities here, this is where I can do that. I've been communicating with Amy. She's going to have a cocktail reception. She has a couple of past trays available. She said that, she thinks the bruschetta is going to be a hit. I can go ahead and change that to 5 here. We need an extra tray. So again, another powerful tool that this life cycle offers you. It's not only generating tasks, collecting payments, sending out documents, it's also collecting these data points, just making sure that you're updating the items as you need or you feel that, as you need in this life cycle.
Got it.
So I can go ahead and send this email off. I can send an event order to the client. I can even ask for an e-signature on that just to make sure that it looks okay. No changes need to be made. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that and then just go through the complete event order stage. So we're now pretty close to the event. The event's taken place. Really important couple of next steps is being able to actualize the event. So maybe you had a hosted bar and you need to update those quantities. Same kind of flow as the event order stage, but I'm actualizing it. I'm making sure that any final payments have been made, any updated quantities are added in, and then I can actually put in the actual attendance. We also have a guaranteed stage here as well. So that's just really prompting you to add that guaranteed attendance, but you have the opportunity to collect that at any stage that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on actualize. Now, this is where I can go ahead and say, yep, I've actually grabbed that second and final deposit here if I wish. I can also add in any additional payments as well. If I scroll on down, I can confirm, closing the previous stage's tasks. I have a new follow-up task, just maybe sending a quick thank you to the client that might have a survey in it. So just grabbing that or generating this new task for following up. I have that confirm attendance card one more time, just updating the attendance. My actual attendance ended up being 95. So having the opportunity just to make sure that I'm putting in the data and that we have all of the correct data, if we ever want to take a look at this event again. And then quantities. Again, bruschetta was a hit. Everyone loved it. We ended up ordering 2 extra trays day of service. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 7 there. And then I can, of course, go ahead and send out an email. Usually at this stage, you're sending out an invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and then grab that event invoice. I have some payment details there, and we can go ahead and click actualize. Oh, some required fields that I missed. Let's go ahead and do that. Always want to make sure that we're collecting the data.
This is great.
That is so important. All right, here's my compose email page. Again, I have a pre-defaulted template here, taking out the work of having to customize these on the fly. And then I can go ahead and generate a document. I didn't do that on the previous page, where I can go ahead and grab my event invoice, generate that. It'll attach to the email, and then I can go ahead and maybe pop that open. Again, just want to make sure that it looks okay. Here it is. Here's my event charges. Here's my cocktail reception. Here's my charges. And then here's my payment details. And then I can go ahead and send that off. All right, just want to touch on the last couple of stages. Not going to go through them. We do have a stage for sending a possible thank you. Again, I mentioned that in the previous stage, where you might want to send a quick thank you email. Maybe has a survey in it. May want to prompt them to, that you might have some deals coming up or anything like that. We have a stage that could be used for sending out some follow up after the event's taken place. We can close the event out. Everything's been input. We're good to go. No other changes are needed for this event. I can close that. And then if at any time the client comes back and things change, things happen, they no longer can host their event, you can go ahead and log it as lost business. What's really great about that is you have lost business reasons. So you can select the reason that they've canceled, and then you can track that. So at the end of the year, you can run a report with all of your lost business, kind of see what the reasons are for that, and then maybe make some business decisions. So we have this canceled stage. And then if you're utilizing any of the integrations, this would, of course, free up any availability. If you canceled the event, it's no longer going to hold on to your function space. It's not going to hold on to any of your guest room bookings if you're using the guest rooms control module. So really important stage just with freeing up any of the assets or the function space or the guest room types that you're utilizing for the event. All right. I think that was a lot to cover. Darla, did we have any other questions?
Not at the moment, but please feel free to ask any questions. The one thing I love about this is we are constantly in a world of multitasking. And when we multitask, we miss things just because there are just so many inputs and there's only so many outputs we can actually produce as humans. So the lifecycle management portion of this product is amazing because it gives you such a stepped approach to make sure that you're not missing anything, to make sure that you're measuring everything, and ultimately enhancing, the next events that you put on, just to make the events better and better as they flow through the process. So I love it. I think it's definitely one of our amazing differentiators for the sales and catering solution. Um,
And one thing I didn't mention, Alan, that I just want to point out is you should have as many life cycle models as you need. I have a social life cycle. I might have a corporate life cycle. I might have life cycles that are driven by those deposit schedules or maybe how far someone's booking out. So you can have as many of these in the settings area as you wish. You would just select the appropriate one for your event. And within these, it can have different stages. You can have a pop-up life cycle that doesn't have all of the stages that you saw today. So it can condense and collect information right away because the event's next week. So lots of flexibility with these life cycles and being able to configure them in the settings.
That's awesome. And we've just touched on this piece. Obviously, there is so much more embedded within the sales and catering solution.
Mhm.
And we're going to plan on putting a sales and catering an event management solution demo in the near future, where we'll focus more on some of the conference center and some of the bigger venues that we manage and help with the platform. So, Amy, this has been awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
So, I want to ask one last question of everybody that's on the line, if you wouldn't mind. Amy, I'm going to ask for you to stop sharing your screen so I can get back into it. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Um, perfect. So what I'm going to do is try to get to the last question. I'm where to go? Okay. Looks like we can't find it, or I can't find it. It's my fault. I'm probably looking at it the wrong way. So it's I've been up way too early. So one of the things that we want to make sure is if you're actively using the product, we're here to go ahead and support you in the best way we possibly can to ensure that you're optimizing the usage of that platform. Secondly, if you're exploring SCS as an opportunity, reach out to us in any manner that you would like, whether that's via the website or whether that's just reaching out via social. That would be lovely. And then finally, if you're new to the product and you want to take a look at all of Infor's product suite, we do offer a lot of things that people don't know about, which I think we have a struggle of trying to communicate that to the market. But along with SCS, we offer a revenue management solution. We offer an analytics and insights kind of reporting tool that's on steroids. And then point of sale, which a lot of people don't know. And obviously our primary product, which is called HMS, which is our property management system. And we have a great group of people that are focused solely on the hospitality industry. Amy started her life in restaurants. I started my life in hotels. Pretty much everybody in our company started their role within the wacky world of hospitality at some point within their career. So I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. It's been awesome. And please look forward we'll send out some emails to you, but please keep an eye out for the next event that comes out, which I believe will be our revenue management solutions, and that'll be in September. So thanks very much for your time, Amy. Thank you very much for your presentation, and enjoy the rest
Thank
of
you.
your day.
Thank you,
Take care.
everyone.